Hi everybody, this is Cheryl and welcome to Tipsy Tuesday. I am running behind. Sorry about that. It's been a very, very busy weekend and week. Okay, I'm going to fill you in really quickly on how the rest of this year is going to work. Next week was supposed to actually be our viewers edition, but because of the few Halloween tips I had, I wanted to go ahead and put it out this week so it'd be before Halloween. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have the regular episodes every week until December 31st, New Year's Eve. At that time, I will have another viewer's edition. That will mark the end of our first season. Now, what I'm going to do is it will go into a playlist. All mine are in a playlist. I don't want those playlists to get too full. So what I'm going to do is at the end of the year, I'm going to end this season. And then in January, I'll start season 2 and start a new playlist and put those starting in January into the new playlist. I don't want the playlist to get so full that, you can't go through all of them. So if I find that there's going to be too many tips, then I'll go ahead and I'll put in an extra viewers edition. But otherwise, I'm just going to do episodes until December 31st, and then I will do my final viewers edition and then end this season. Okay, so let's get into this viewers edition. We're going to go back to episode 19 with the brown paper bags. Creative Redundancy and Becky Stiles both talked about making popcorn. Put popcorn in a brown paper bag and put it in the microwave and to make popcorn. Now, Becky Stiles talked about making caramel popcorn out of it. And if y'all don't know by now, Becky Stiles is my baby sister. And she better be sharing her caramel recipe. Just saying. Okay. Creative Redundancy also talked about adding insulation when it's cold by putting leaves or paper or something inside of a brown paper bag and putting it on the inside of your coat to add an extra layer of insulation when you're out and it's cold. And he also talked about making paper mache, and yes, you can. When I worked for Head Start years and years ago, we had the kids decorate brown paper bags with orange tissue paper, and they made pumpkins. And we made them we put treats in them and then made them like little paper mache treat bags. You can also tear the brown paper bags into strips and use them like you would the newspaper, where you dip the strips of newspaper into the flour and water. Instead, you could put the brown paper bags in there, so that was really good. Now, Creative Redundancy, Soggy Bottom Homestead, and Will Patriot all talked about using them in different ways for fire starters. Creative Redundancy said roll them into paper fire logs, which is kind of what Soggy Bottom Homestead also said, is to roll them up tight to start a fire with. You can also put them in like the little fire burners that I made, the little burners I made with the cardboard and the wax. You could use brown paper bags for that as well. Just roll them up tight. Now, having said that, I remember my grandma used to twist newspaper or brown paper bags to start her stove with, because she had one of those old stoves you had to light it every time, So Yeah, you just twist it up and make it, like, and then light it, and then light your fire or your stove or whatever. And Will Patriot talked about making little fire starters out of them. Both him and I had talked about that, but neither one of us have had time to work on that, so we have not got that done. But you can make fire starters using the brown paper bags. Okay, so moving on, Reaper Militia Outdoors talked about storing his fixing wax in brown paper bags. And if you remember my mail call, he did send me one of his fixing wax, and it was wrapped up in a brown paper bag and tied with cotton string, which is the way they used to wrap packages. When they mailed packages, is they would wrap it in brown paper and tie them with string. And, they would mail them that way. Now, Missouri Old Timer had talked about making mouse traps. Now, if you recall, I had given the recipe on making fly strips. And he was talking about, making a mouse trap out of it. Now, he said he could never get it to work. One idea I thought about, because I thought a lot about it after he had said that, is you could possibly use that same recipe, but instead of putting it on a brown paper bag, put it on a piece of cardboard. And that might make it stronger, and if you put more of that solution on there, it might be stickier where it could actually catch a mouse. It's worth a try. Now, Brandon Hirsch, my son, reminded me that they used to make hand puppets. Yeah. Now, you can all guess who made this one. Yeah, Angel. It's Beetlejuice. One time, we were without power for quite a long time, and the kids, needed things to do. And so they had actually taken a cardboard box, cut it out to look like a TV, and made puppets out of brown paper bags, and put on little performances, made their homemade TV and their puppets. And you can color them the way Angel did, or you can use buttons and string and yarn and whatever you've got to make your own little puppets and put on your own little puppet performance. Now, Wayne Beaver said that he used to draw pictures and write songs on brown paper bags. He also left another funny little tip that I'm not going to talk about. I'm going to go back to episode 19 and Wayne Beaver and read what he wrote. It was quite funny. Now, Soggy Bottom Homestead also talked about decoupaging tabletop, which I would love to see that. And another way she uses brown paper bags to start fires is she would use a brown paper bag to drain the fat off of her sausage or bacon. Instead of laying it on a paper towel, you use a brown paper bag and then use that to start your fires. And then Grim Adventure said that you could make Halloween bags out of them, which is a very good idea. You can make Halloween treat bags. We used to use brown paper bags when we went trick-or-treating, either that or pillowcases. Now, Hoople's cat talks about when he's lazy, he stores the seeds in brown paper bags. But actually, brown paper bags are very good for storing seeds. And Modern Refugee told an excellent way of not only storing seeds, but collecting seeds. And he said basically, he cuts a plant, whatever plant he's saving the seeds from, so that it still has the stem on it. And he takes the head of the plant and sticks it down in the bag so the stems are sticking up out of the end. And he ties them shut with twine, and you want to have a loop on your twine so that you can hang them up, okay? And then from the way he said it in the comment, the brown paper bag actually draws the moisture out, causing the plant and the seeds to dry and drop down into the bag. Then you just pull the head and the stems out, and all your seeds are in the bag. So an easy way to collect your seeds. I really appreciate that. That was a good idea. Really great tips there. Let's move on to paper towel rolls. The only thing for the brown or for the paper towel rolls, you know, the center of it, was chasing kids around, making animal noises, and the kids and I used to have sword fights with them. You know, when it would be a lot of fun. You know, kind of like a pillow fight, but yeah, with a paper towel roll. All right, so moving on to Halloween, which was episode 21. Now, there wasn't a whole lot of tips there. It was more of a trip down memory lane for most everybody. You know, it was special meals and just, you know, different things that they done for Halloween. You know, going home and they'd go out trick-or-treating and then they'd run back home, change costumes, and go out again. You know, different things like that. The only one that I really got a kick out was Reaper Militia Outdoors talked about, you know, we had said the candies for the kids, parents go buy your own. He said, that's his candy tax. And I got a good kick out of that one. I was like, he charges his kids a candy tax. Now, Pennsylvania Prepper talked about, excuse me, putting sticky labels on the candy that she hands out, or putting it in a little bag with a cute little tag on it with her name and address on it, so that, you know, the parents are going to know that that candy is safe and it's okay. It's a way of letting them know, hey, you know, I'm not going to put my name on there if it's bad candy. She also provides bottled water for the trick-or-treaters and their parents, which I thought was a good idea. Now, the funny thing was, both her and I had came up with the same costume idea for one of our kids at some point, and we made our kids into a tube of toothpaste. Now, I'm going to tell how I did mine. I basically took just some white flannel type material and just made a piece that looked like a tube of toothpaste, and then put the felt letters on the front that said toothpaste. And then I took not the poster board but the thicker stuff and cut out the shape of a toothbrush and glued a old scrub brush onto it, onto the top of it, so that it looked like a toothbrush. And then I put a lampshade, made a hat out of the lampshade, and that was the cap, you know. And so they went as a tube of toothpaste, and she did that as well. I thought that was really funny that we both had done that, you know. Now, moving on to episode 22, this was zipper storage bags, and there was quite a lot of tips in this. Now, we had done, we had talked about filling things like eggs, deviled eggs, and mushrooms, and, you know, things like that. Use the zipper bags, you know, mixing it up in the bag and then squirting it out into there. Well, Nathan 4071 said that he smashes up his avocados and he makes guacamole in a zipper bag, which I thought was really, really a good idea. Now, the Garden Archives talked about making cold packs by filling a zipper bag about a quarter of the way full and freezing them in your freezer to make a cold pack. You know, if little ones bump their head, or you know, they need a cold pack for something like that. Now, there's also another way. You can take and mix, it's 1 cup of rubbing alcohol to 2 cups of water, and put it in a quart size, and then freeze it. Now, it is not going to freeze solid. The rubbing alcohol won't let it freeze solid, but it'll be more like slush. And so that you can use that to maybe wrap around a sprained wrist or sprained ankle, so it kind of forms around it. It'll be more slushy. And you can also use this in a cooler. But another way is if you freeze, put water in like a milk jug or something, and then you can smash that up and put those chunks in there for your cooler, and they'll kind of, you know, they'll move around a little bit better than something solid. So right there's 3 ways of doing an ice pack, or, you know, something like that. A solid piece or chunks, or the slushy by you putting the alcohol in the water. All really great ideas for not only medical, but, you know, for your lunch, you know, your lunch bag or whatever like that, or your cooler. The Pennsylvania Prepper, playing off the hint I gave about the diaper bag, about organizing the diaper bag, she said that she does it for her purse, which is a very good idea. And of course, we all know bug out bags and EDCs and things like that, you know, putting zipper bags, any kind of bag like that. Yeah, the zipper bags are very helpful for organizing those. Asymmetrical preparedness, I talked about, he had made up his lunch for the week, and he would put chicken in bags, and then his rice or potatoes, and then another one for his vegetables, and then he'd have his lunch already made up, you know, for the week, which is a very good idea. Now, playing off of that, Wheelie's World talked about, she basically talked about the same ideas I had, except for she said one that I forgot to mention. When you have dinner, say you have a dinner at your home or something, and you're, you know, sending leftovers home with the kids or the grandkids or whoever, put the leftovers in zipper bags rather than in a bowl, or, you know, or a jar or something. Put it in the zipper bag, and that way your bowls don't disappear, that kind of thing. Free Spirit Press News talked about storing medical supplies in there. Now, I haven't actually shown you all my medical kit, but my medical kit is actually made up of a bunch of the snack size zipper bags, and but I also have sandwich size on up to gallon size, depending on, you know, what I'm storing in there. I actually have some pretty big size compresses from when Angel had her surgery, and, you know, organizing the different sizes and different things you have in your first aid kit is a very good idea. And let's see. Reaper Militia Outdoors keeps his traps when he goes out trapping. He puts his small traps in a zipper bag, and he actually puts it in 2 to 3 zipper bags. And not only does it keep it, you know, handy, but also covers the scent, so he's not, you know, exposing the scent, you know, as he's setting his traps out. Let's see. I have a couple I wanted to read. Now, one thing I remember when I was growing up is my grandma used to she used to wash and dry hers. Excuse me. And that way she would be able to use them again. Now, unless they're damaged, that is a very good idea. Now, I have a couple I wanted to read here. Markham Hayseed said, I carry them in my truck, keep them in my shop, keep ammo, gun parts in them. He lives on the lake, so I put my wallet, cell phone, keys in them while he's in his boat. And most important, it's what he keeps his toilet paper in his truck. So, a lot of great ideas there. And what was the other one? Okay. And AK Fab had quite a bit here. I smashed garlic cloves in a zipper bag. I use the zipper bag to carry my toothbrush and ginger adhesive in my everyday bag. I use them to freeze grapes. She used them when I have no piping bag, and cut a tiny hole in the corner, which is one of them that we had given decorating a cake with the frosting by cutting the corner off like we did for the filling the eggs, and then filling the deviled eggs. And then she said, also, if you do have a piping bag, you can line it with another baggie to make two colors at once. So basically, you would put one color in the baggie and then one in the piping bag, and then you would put, put them in at the same time, and then you squirt them out at the same time, so you have two colors come out at once. And if the shower shower head clogs up, I fill with vinegar or cleanser and place over the shower with taper clips and let it sit for a while to soak the shower head. I don't remember if I talked about that one in vinegar episode or not. I don't think I did. And then when she's out and about in public, she puts her cell phone in the bag, which is what Markham Hayseed had talked about. But she can still work the touch screen. If it's in a bag, you can still work the touch screen. I also carry travel shampoo, etc. in a zipper bag in case it comes open. You can put edible sand or edible glitter in the Ziploc and decorate with it, like with your frosting. And then, of course, the ice packs, which we just talked about. But she also talked about putting them in grocery bags, in the shopping bags, to keep them cold till you get home. And I think that is about it. I think we've got it all covered. This one is a little bit longer. The viewers' episodes are getting a little bit longer. But it just shows that we are communicating, we are learning from each other, and that's what we wanted to do. All right, y'all have a nice day. Bye.